Okay, welcome back to episode 83 of the What's the Dill podcast. I'm your host, Pete Dill. This is our first episode in the year 2024, so thank you for being here with me today. We've got a lot to get into. We're going to talk about the college football final. We're going to talk about Green Day for a second, New Year's resolutions, and then finally, we're going to talk about my health and my health update and the update on my Bells Palsy. Thank you all for being here with me today. How was your Christmas? How was your New Year? Did you get everything you wanted? Did you eat a lot of food? I sure as heck knew I ate a lot of good food, even with, the medical situation. In fact, the doctor was like, when I was coming out of the hospital, the doctor was like, hey, remember, soft foods and yogurts are your friend, this whole holiday season. It might be hard to choose, so let's just stick to soft foods. I was like, Doc, listen, I got a holiday prime rib in the oven right now, so I am definitely going to eat that. Unless it will kill me, I'm eating it. If the prime rib will kill me, I won't. But if the prime rib doesn't kill me, I'm eating it. Sorry if chewing's hard, Doc. And the doctor needlessly suggested against that. So, hope your holidays were filled with blessings, family, food. I just hope it was a great holiday for you. Okay, so this is the first episode of the new year. I'm excited to kick off this year every week with a new episode on Thursdays, like you're seeing it right now, or maybe you're seeing it a little later. But every Thursday, a new episode of What's the Dill? We're going to be talking about top stories that are going around. And just going to have kind of a fun, hopefully entertaining podcast for you to listen to while you're doing chores, work, driving, commuting. Just want to kind of be with you in those times. And I want to help serve you in those times that you're trying to relax, kick back. Okay, so starting off with our first topic, the college football playoff was this past January 1st. And I don't know about you, but college football on New Year's Day is like one of the most underrated traditions, in my opinion. It doesn't have all the hype of Christmas, doesn't have all of the glitz and glamour of Thanksgiving or, Halloween or July 4th. But for me, having college football, watching great college football on New Year's Day, as the Christmas season's ending, as the New Year's beginning, and having that on the TV during the day, all night. It's one of my favorite things, and I love that kind of element of like starting the new year off with some great college football, and it's such like it's one of like those American traditions I hold on to that I love so much. And I remember when I was living overseas, the idea of watching college football on New Year's Day was kind of not really relevant. I was like, man, that's a great American tradition. Great college football on New Year's Day is a great American tradition. So Love that tradition, and these games this year were fantastic. We had Michigan versus Alabama in the first game, and then Texas, where I'm at, versus Washington. And I'm going to spare you some of the details of the game because if you're interested, you probably watched all of the reactions. If you're not, then we can just talk about some of the narratives. But they were great games. They lived up to the hype. There were four really big brands, great teams, and everyone, there was a lot of excitement around, can Jim Harbaugh win the game to make it to the championship amid all of the cheating scandals? Can UT break through, with Coach Sark and his new regime? Washington, Michael Penix Jr., he, such a superstar in that offense, and then Bama, obviously is Bama. Nick Saban, can he keep doing it again and again and again? So Michigan ended up beating Bama, and then Washington beat Texas. So everyone here in Texas was really, really upset, really down because maybe, everyone here thought it was the year that maybe Texas could break through. But overall, they were awesome games. They were so fun to watch, and they were really, really great products. Because sometimes in the past years, the semifinal games were not great games, but like this year they actually were, and there's a lot of attention about the committee and making the right decisions for the teams and who should be in it or not. But these games were awesome, and they were well worth watching, and they were absolutely the right teams were in there. Sorry to all the Florida State people. Sorry to all the Georgia team, although Georgia kicked Florida State's butt, so they probably could have been in too. So that was a great way to start off the 2024 with two great football games on New Year's Day. Okay, moving on, we're going to talk about Green Day. You might have not heard that name, that band, in a while, but Green Day was playing on a New Year's Eve celebration. First of all, there's 45 New Year's Eve celebrations on TV. When did this happen? Growing up, there was one. It was the Dick Clark New Year's Eve celebration that Ryan Seacrest somehow then took over, where it's now his thing. But growing up, there was one. Now there's 50. Every channel was a different celebration on New Year's Eve. I was like, wait, who's on what? I don't know. I was a little bit confused, and maybe that was me just being an old guy yelling at a cloud. But I was a little bit flustered. There was 45 different New Year's Eve celebrations on TV. And they're all, it's just, so, and I mean, you could really have 100. It's all just the same thing. It's just a bunch of people, artists lip syncing, and a bunch of people standing in New York City yelling, wearing funny glasses. So that was funny to me. But I saw this article about Green Day having newer fans, getting really upset because they made a really political statement in one of the songs. They kind of switched the lyrics to one of their songs to be really political. And I guess a lot of newer fans didn't know that Green Day is this overtly political band, and they've always been kind of sticking it to the government type of band. And I thought that was really funny because Green Day's been around for so long now that people don't even know that 20 years ago, they were making albums that were just totally anti the government, anti Republicans. And I remember when that album, American Idiot, came out, they really, really, really political one. I remember hearing those songs, that album. I was 14 years old, and I was like, wow, I don't know what we are actually doing in Iraq. Maybe we should be thinking of a different exit strategy here. Is there any evidence of WMDs over there? I'm not sure, guys. And, so I heard that album kind of activated this whoa, wow, what's really going on with the government? And then after I had that thought, I had to bring it on to the school bus to get the top political minds on it. My boys, my other 14-year-old boys, get their take on it. And now we got a group of 14-year-old boys who have just been activated by the lyrics of this Green Day album. So I had to get my boys' opinions on it, And when that album came out and we started talking about it, I was like, wow, there was deep political conversation going on the school bus, on the commute to school. And, during that time when it came out, I was like, guys, let's be real here. Let's be real about what we're doing in the Middle East. Does Karl Rove have our best intentions? I don't know, guys, but Green Day said Karl Rove might not have our best intentions in mind. Do you know that Dick Cheney's actually the one really calling the shots in the White House? That was that era of Green Day. That kind of George Bush era of Green Day. And I guess people forgot that they're a super political, band, by switching lyrics around to be political. So there's all these really funny reactions about, I thought it was funny about people being Green Day, how could you be so political? I had no idea that you had any thoughts about the politics. And I was like, dude, you should have been around the school bus in 2004. You should have been on the school bus in suburban New Jersey in 2004. And you would have had a bunch of crackpot politician experts telling you about Green Day and their political ideologies. But here we are in 2024, 20 years later, and people are kind of just finding out. So I thought that was really funny. It was also surprising to see Green Day out playing shows. I didn't even know they're still around, but so that was funny to me. Yeah, I don't know if you think that's funny. Tell me if you think that was funny, because for me, I just thought that was such a funny idea of that, and then thinking back to when American Idiot came out, that was dude. Next topic, we're going to talk about New Year's resolutions. Do you have any? Are you going to do some resolutions this year? Well, I saw some interesting stats about New Year's resolutions. It says nearly 4 in 10 adults in America make New Year's resolutions. And the most popular resolutions involve these three things. Can you guess what they are? The most popular resolutions involve these three things. It's health, finances, and lifestyle, like hobbies, work-life balance. So health, finances, lifestyle. Which I was like, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, those are important things. Health, finances, lifestyle. So, I thought it was really interesting. I'm actually very pro New Year's resolutions. I know sometimes people can poo-poo. I shouldn't be saying P words. I can barely say a P word. I'm choosing only P words to say. But I know people can poo-poo New Year's resolutions because it can be, there's always this idea of like, oh, well, no one ever keeps them, so why would we even do them? But I am a very pro New Year's resolution person. I'm very pro making commitments, sticking to them, but also having like a clear path about when we're going to start, how we're going to do it, and making commitments. I've had a lot of New Year's resolutions in the past. 2 years ago, I wanted to go for a run every day and say the rosary. I made that 361 days until I ended up in the hospital last year. I had 1 year, like 15 years ago, I was like, I want to start working out. 16 years ago, I did that, committed to that. I had 1 year New Year's resolutions. I wanted to do eat only one plate of food at every meal. And that was hard. That was maybe the hardest ever because it was very vague. Because what if you have a small plate? What if you have a big plate? What if you have two small plates? Does it equal one big plate? So there was a lot of vagueness with that. But I totally get why we make New Year's resolutions, and I'm all for them. Now, I think we sometimes don't hit our resolutions because we try to do too much. That's why I feel like people get frustrated with New Year's resolutions, because we want to do everything all the time right now and have all the results right now. But that's not how commitments work. Commitments are long and they're grueling and there's ups and there's downs, but we just kind of stick with it. And so if you're making a New Year's resolution this year, I encourage you to stick with it. I'm here with you. Share with me what your New Year's resolution is. I want to hear it. I want to hear what you're doing this year to make yourself better. My New Year's resolution this year is to put out a podcast episode every single day, not every day, every single week, every single Thursday this year. So every single Thursday, I'm committing to putting out a podcast episode this year. That's my resolution. I have other micro ones, other things I want to do. Oh, and then, okay, I'll tell you, I have a lot of other little mini goals. I'm rambling right now. I am rambling. Sorry. Oh gosh. If you're not watching, I'm rambling. My eye can't shut, so I'm trying to shut my eye to get some moisture back in my eye. But I'm rambling. I'm pumped up. I'm excited. I'm pumped up for this new year, and I'm pumped up for your resolutions. So I hope you're excited too. Hope you can hear my excitement. So 2 resolutions I'll share, and then some other micro ones that aren't really resolutions, more like goals. Resolution is to put out a podcast episode every Thursday this year. So 52 episodes. Want to do that. My second one is I want to wake up 2 days a week at 5:30 to pray and to work out. Now, I try to do both those things a lot during the week. But I don't know about you, but I'm kind of like the terrorist where I kind of have like my schedules and my time, and I find time to work out and pray, and I kind of, move within the flow of my week to fit those different times in. And you know what? Through a lot of dedication and grace, I've been able to stay committed to working out and prayer, trying to keep that consistent. And it's not easy. But one thing I said was, you know what? I felt more compelled to wake up early a couple times a week to make sure I get in the prayer and the working out. So during the whole day, that I can focus all my time on work and family and life, and not feel like I have to play catch up with two important things, prayer and fitness. So that's my commitment. Now you might be saying to yourself, Pete, 2 times a week. Well, what that, I don't know, that seems kind of lame. Why don't you just do it 7 times a week? I know myself. I know that I can always build it up more. But what I don't want to do is overcommit and overdo this and start hitting the snooze button and say, you know what, maybe I'll wake up at 7 and I'll get a little prayer, then I'll get a workout in later. Okay, then 1 day a week. Okay, and then now how about this? I didn't get any this week, but maybe I'll try 6 days next week, or I'll try to wake up early 5. I know I can commit to 2 days a week. Days that I'm going to be in the office at work. Days that I'm going to have a lot to do. Wake up, start the day off, prayer and working out. So see how that flows, see how that works, and commit to that. Because I am one of those people that like I said, I do wake up early sometimes. I work out at night sometimes. I work out in the morning sometimes. I pray in the morning sometimes. I pray in the afternoon sometimes. I'm a little scattered with some of my commitments. I kind of flow with like my life. Like, okay, there are times that I'm waking up early. There are times that I'm working out at night. There are times that I'm praying a lot consistently. There's times that I'm not. But what I really, really wanted to do was to dedicate a couple days and try it and commit to it. And that's why I'm doing 2 days a week. So those are my resolutions this year. I want you to hold me accountable. I want you to ask me how it's going. I'm waking up at 5:30, 2 days a week to pray and work out. Because I want to try that, and I'll keep you guys posted. But I wanted to try it consistently because, again, like there are times I've done, I try to do, well, thank you God for grace. I do both, but like that consistent time, consistent place, like I want to see how I can fit it into, a busy life with work and dad stuff and, husband and life and hobbies and this. But that's why I don't want to make excuses for not working out or praying. I want to set the time. So those are my New Year's resolutions. Tell me what yours are. I'd love to hear y'all's. If you don't have any, that's cool. But if you do, let me know what they are and let me know how I can help serve you and staying committed to those. I'll be your accountability partner if you want. You can even write in if you want, and I can, help give you shout outs on here if you want on the podcast, if that helps you. But yeah, I'd love to shout you out on the podcast, if you want. So yeah, write in, tell me what your resolutions are. You can always DM me, you can email me at pete.dill@wearebackseatmedia.com or info@wearebackseatmedia.com, or DM me on any of the social media, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, leave a comment. Okay, so now I'm going to go into update on my health and my Bells Palsy. First off, I just want to thank all of you for reaching out to me and offering your support, your love, your prayers. I appreciate it so, so much. I had a huge outpouring of support from people reaching out when I posted the podcast last week. And honestly, I was surprised. Like, I made that episode at I wasn't feeling great. And I made that episode kind of just like, all right, I'm going to do this because I want to commit to doing an episode and I have to talk about what's going on with my face and my health. So I did it, and I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know if people were going to be like, oh, wow, that's crazy. I didn't know if people were going to be like, I just didn't know. I really actually didn't put any attention to it. But tons of people reached out, and I want to thank all of you because I was really I was taken back, but I was also felt really supported by all of you. And I know that can sound strange to think hey, how could I support someone who maybe I'm not in the same city with, or back in Jersey, or over across seas, over in Europe, or in the Midwest. But you all, all your words, all your prayers meant a lot, and it really, really helped me and my mindset, and helped me with my my health that I'm obviously dealing with here. So I just want to say thank you to all of you. So a little update on my health. It's basically at the same place it was last week. No movement on my face. No no prognosis to like diagnosis to when it's going to be better. I'm seeing some doctors this week, and they're going to maybe run some tests. They're going to keep giving me some medicine, and I'll maybe have a clearer picture. But as of right now, the whole diagnosis is still kind of like a wait and see game. Kind of wait and see, massage the face, take some medicine, take some vitamins, try not to stress too much, and hopefully it gets better in the next couple weeks. I'm like, all right, trying to stress too much. Doc, my face isn't moving. All right, my face ain't moving, Doc. How do you suggest I don't stress about that? They're like, have you tried maybe ashwagandha leaf? I'm like, what? How about this? Get this side of my face moving, and I'll stress less. But that's kind of the update. I've actually seen some doctors. I'm seeing some doctors this week, so I'll have like a more accurate update with a timeline. But unfortunately, there is no perfect timeline. There is no timeline for when this will be better. There are estimations. Hey, like 2 to 6 weeks is average for 70% of people. Hey, for 10% of people, it's actually 3 to 6 months. Hey, for less than 1%, it actually is like this forever. Okay, great. Wow. Where do I fall in that? Do you have any, estimations about that? But there are no perfect estimations. And for me, I'm just trying to have the perspective of taking this day by day, staying positive, and not letting the desire to feel better, to be better, take away the joy from my everyday moments. I don't want this idea of like, hey, like I look like this, I feel like this, so I'm kind of just like, I'm just down right now. That's it. I'm just gonna like stay in my house and do nothing and just kind of like put my cloak over my face like the Phantom of the Opera and just maybe only come out at night. It's like, no, like I am living my life. I am seeing people, I'm talking to people, I'm working, I'm doing my thing. And I'm going to keep doing that and staying positive and with hopes that I'm going to get better. I'm going to do the work to get better, but I'm going to keep my mind hopeful that I'm going to get better, but I'm not going to put attention to like a timeline. Because for me, a timeline like that might actually hurt my mental health. It might actually hurt my mental to be like, hey, if I'm not better in 2 weeks, I better be better in 2 weeks. But then if I'm not, that 2 weeks in one day come up and I'm going to be really upset because I'm like, oh, I wanted to be 2 weeks. Well, maybe it's 3 weeks. Well, maybe it's 4 weeks. Maybe it's 5 weeks. Kind of putting this mindset, that like I'm controlling the levers behind the scenes. When in reality, I'm not. I can do the work, but I'm not the one controlling the levers. And it was really important for me to understand that with this diagnosis. Is that like, yeah, God's got a plan. I don't understand what it is. I don't understand why this has happened. But I trust that there's a plan for me, and I trust that I am going to be, I'm going to come out better on the other side of this, and I'm not going to worry about the timeline of it because I trust in God's plan for me. I trust that God has a plan, an idea for all this, that I might look back in 1 year, 5 years, 20 years, 50 years, and say, like, I see what God was doing. I don't see that right now, so I'm not going to worry about the timeline. I'm not going to worry about the why. I'm just going to focus on my day-to-day, stay positive, do the work to get healthy, but understand that, like, hey, like, there are things out of my control. This is out of my control. This is a curveball. This is obviously something I did not expect to happen to start the new year. I'm spitting everywhere. I can't say T or S's. I'm spitting everywhere. I did not expect this. So that's kind of my mindset. That's like the update. That's like my thought of, hey, I am going to stay focused on still being the best husband, best father, best friend, best coworker, best person I can be, and having Bells Palsy is not going to stop me. And on a funny note of that, of kind of not letting Bells Palsy stop me, I'll tell you what, 2 funny things. One, people have been really, really nice to me. I mean, I kind of maybe feel like the Phantom of the Opera sometimes coming out in public, being at a coffee shop. People are being extra nice to me. And you know what? I like it. I like it. I like that people are being so nice to me. I mean, the amount of people that have just like let me cut in line, or the amount of people that have been like, oh, sir, I think your name is being called. Or the amount of people that have been like, oh, yeah, that's really great. I mean, people are being nice. I was at a coffee shop meeting up with a friend a few days ago, and I walked in with the guy, and there was a guy who was kind of a lot, line, and it was kind of crowded, and I asked the guy, I said, hey man, are you in line? Because I couldn't tell where the line started. And he kind of had that look at me, kind of like, dude, here we go. Some guys ask me in line, I'm not in line. And he kind of then looked at my face and he was like, oh, no, sir, I'm not in line. The line starts right there. And I was like, thank you. That was so nice of you for point. He's like, yeah, right there. It starts right there. Get right. I was like, oh, thank you, sir. And I was like, I gotta enjoy everyone just being so overly nice to me while I can, because I know as soon as my face is back to normal, people are like, yeah, dude, I don't know where the line starts. Why don't you use your eyes? It starts up right over there. And so for now, I'm enjoying people being so nice to me. And another funny thing that happened was I went to a men's night, like a men's social night the other day. And kind of a long story, but basically, I didn't really know many guys there. But I committed to going to it. And because I knew maybe one guy, but I didn't really know anyone. So, I walk in with a 6-pack of beer to this, these guys' house, bunch of, younger guys, Christian guys all hanging out. I walk, break the door open, and people's faces turn, and they're just like, is this a Make-A-Wish scenario? What's going on? This guy walks in who we have no idea who he is. His face is melting off. And it's just like, hey, what's up, guys? And, of course, no one wanted to say anything because, you don't know someone. You're not going to be like, hey, what's wrong with your face? For all they know, I could have been walking around like this forever. And, I start talking to some guys, and I was, I just eventually had to break the ice, and I was like, hey, sorry I was spitting on you right now as I'm talking. I just got diagnosed with Bells Palsy. I just went like this. And I felt like the people's, kind of shoulders drop, oh, okay, so what happened? And I was they could actually talk to me because people's eyes, meeting someone, being like, oh, hello, man. What's your name, tall fella? What's your name? And I didn't want to it was just a funny scenario to me to think about these guys having this guy who they've never seen really walk in and being like, who's this guy? Who invited this guy? And I was talking to one of the guys, and I was like, it's so funny. He was like, so you just came down here, knowing you had this, meeting a bunch of guys for the first time. I was like, yeah, dude, that's how I roll. I'm going in, meeting people for the first time. First impressions, if this is my first impression, this is me. I was like, usually the other half of my face works. And man, you're going to love the other half of my face too. When this one gets kicking in, you're going to love that half of my face. But for now, you're just getting this half, and I hope that's okay with you guys. And so it was great. It was kind of like a funny scenario for me to be like, I'm meeting people with my face like this and just trying to not let it stop me. Try to not let it stop me from this Bell's Palsy, stop me from living my life. Because, that's kind of been some of the fear and temptation is that all right, well, I guess I can just hole up in my apartment and just, be the Phantom of the Opera for a couple months and then just, come out when my face is normal. But I've just kind of felt compelled to live my life as normal as I can. And, so that's the update. I'm going to try to be as normal, as positive as I can and pray that things improve, but also have hope that it will and that there's a greater plan at play here. So that's the update. Again, thank you all for reaching out to me, caring about me, and all your words meant a lot. So that's it for today. That's episode 83 of What's the Dill, the first of 2024. I appreciate you all checking in, watching, listening. Make sure you like, subscribe, share this episode, share the clips with the friends, family, whoever you think would enjoy this. I appreciate you all so much.